हाँ झालं चल.
उदय गुड मॉर्निंग.
पण ऐकू नाही येते.
आलं
गुड मॉर्निंग सर.
Welcome everybody. All participants are requested to mute themselves. All participants are requested to mute themselves.
Right or not?
All are requested to mute themselves. Mohit, are you there? Mohit, are you there? Mohit, are you there? काय झालं हे बघ.
Hello. This is Advocate Maniyar.
Advocate Nitin Maniyar, please mute yourself.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Definitely.
Advocate Mohit Bansali, are you there? Advocate Mohit Bansali, are you there? Mohit,
एक मिनट मैं ज्वाइन हो गया कैसे नहीं सैलरी
Mohit, can you unmute yourself? Mohit, can you unmute? Within few minutes, we will start our today's session. Vishwanath Mannadiyar had sent that Mohit is online, but he has muted himself. Let us wait for a few more seconds. Mohit. Mohit.
हॅलो त्याला फक्त एवढं मी शकतो आतापर्यंत दिला नाहीये तर प्लीज तो ताबडतोब तुमचो आणि त्याची दिलं असं सांग महिना घालून दिल्लीला जाताना जो ऍडव्हान्स
चालू नाही
Okay, now I know that, but you have no idea who was
Welcome everybody. We have today. Hello. All are requested to mute themselves. All participants are requested to mute themselves. All are requested to mute themselves.
व्हिडिओ आणि हे बंद करायला सांगितलं ना.
आपापला आवाज बंद करावा. आपापला माईक जो काही आहे तो बंद करा. आपापला माईक बंद करा.
Total chaos in this meeting. You can hear so much. It is about consumer forum.
आपण जर का कमी बोललात तर आपल्याला आपल्या स्पीकरचा ऐकू येईल. Let us give sufficient time to the speaker. Please mute yourself. All are requested to mute their mic. Mohit, can you unmute yourself? Mohit, can you unmute yourself? Mohit. Namaskar. This is the lecture which we are going to start within few minutes, but there is some technical issue at the end of today's speaker. Our speaker is unable to. Yes, Mohit, can you now speak for something? Mohit, yes. Mohit, please utter a few sentences. Mohit, are you able to hear? Mohit, are you able to hear? Mohit, I can see you. Mohit. All right. Let us start the session. Welcome to all participants. We are starting our session now. There are around 140 participants so far who have logged in during this lockdown period. As a president of Consumer Court Advocate Association, I am having a pleasure to invite and welcome all of you. As I said, during this odd hours, during this pandemic situation, Consumer Court Advocate Association has continued its innovative programs. Last week, we started with the inaugural session of this lecture series by name Law Speak. Honorable Justice R.C. Chauhan, retired judge of the Bombay High Court and the ex-president of the State Commission Maharashtra at Mumbai, inaugurated this lecture series. Yesterday we heard Sri M.S. Pandit, a senior advocate and a founder member of the Consumer Court Advocate Association, who highlighted the important provisions of the Consumer Protection Act 2019. Now today we are having a second technical session. This session is about the comparison of the old and the new provisions, namely 1986 and 2019 Act. And we are having our speaker who is from our own managing committee. And for introduction of our own secretary, I request the present one of the vice presidents, Sri Uday Vavikar, to introduce today's speaker. Uday Vavikar, please introduce.
Honorable President and Chairman of today's meeting, Varun Jikar, I must congratulate you, sir, for taking this project of online lectures, and which is very successfully working out at the outset. Our keynote speaker, Sri Mohit Bansali, who is also our Honorable Secretary of Consumer Court Advocates Association. In fact, when I looked at Mohit's resume, it is so long, so I have decided to say salient features because he's got an illustrious background. Mohit passed his LLB from illustrious Institute of Government Law College. Thereafter, he has registered himself as an advocate in 2005, and he was very lucky. In fact, he had the agreeable chambers of Honorable Justice Latte. Then he was working with Mullah and Mullah. Then he was working with Advocate Tushar Shah, and finally, one of the most famous advocates, Sri Prabhavalkar. So therefore, he had as an illustrious experience of practice of nearly 15 years. And in his 15 years, he has contested against all senior counsels and he's got adequate experience. In fact, to his credit, he is also a regular visitor on the TV channel of Magic League Now, Mumbai Mirror, and other TV channels. He is not only there, he is for consumer related. He is also speaker. He is also on the panel of Association of Medical Consultants, and he has to his credit He is an amicus curiae of National Commission in Bhumi matter. Here I am present you. Eager to hear voice of the company between Consumer Protection Act old and the new act. I am presenting to you Mohit Bansali, one of the illustrious advocates of consumer courts, having a lot of experience.
Thank you, Avik ji, and thank you, Mr. Uday Prakash ji, Varunjikar ji, to give me an opportunity to express my view about the new Consumer Protection Act as well as the old Consumer Protection Act. And it's really fortunate that I am on the online platform before the CCA members and other advocates practicing in various fields. I hope I am audible to you all. Am I audible to you all?
You are audible.
Yes, yes.
Everybody has
Yes,
been
yes.
muted. So please go ahead.
Yes, okay. Now, before I start my today's lecture, I would like to give a brief about the variation in Consumer Protection Act of 1986 and the Consumer Protection of 2019. I am sharing with you the act itself so that it will be convenient for all to have a look about the relevant provisions and what I am going to talk about. If I put it before you, you can go through quickly and understand what I am exactly talking about. It will be having a ready reference for you all to ask the questions and to get it resolved. Now, I'll proceeding further. I'm showing the slide created by me showing those are the comparison I'm going to show you. You can see it, right? So those are the key features which I have.
Mohit, next slide has not yet been uploaded.
Those are the key features. I will be providing this material after my lecture. I'm just showing. Feature is Central Regulatory Authority and Product Liability are the key features of new Act. Thereafter, consumers' rights are well defined. Can you mute, Anjali ji? Can you mute your? Okay, I'll go ahead. What are the rights of consumers are defined in new Act. Thereafter, there are 6 types of rights. What are those rights? Right to be protected against the marketing of goods, product or service which can be hazardous to life and property is the first right, most important right. Then right to be informed about the quality, quantity, potency, purity, standard and price of goods, product and services. And the third right is right to be assured of access to goods, product and services at competitive prices. Thereafter, another right is right to be heard at appropriate forums. And thereafter, right to seek redressal against unfair trade practice that are involved in the exploitation of consumers, right to consumer awareness. Those are the rights newly enshrined in the provision of new Act. Those rights were not available expressly. The court had to interpret earlier whether that is a right falling within the ambit of Consumer Protection Act provisions 1986 or not. But here, when the rights are expressly provided by the legislatures, so those are most important rights and those are being explained now. Thereafter, the role of Consumer Protection Authority. I'll be explaining and just highlighting the key features. There are certain authorities been created in the new Act. And one of the authorities is a Consumer Protection Authority, which has been created to create a transparency and ensure that consumers' right is being effected, consumers' right is being implemented, and consumer is the king. So what are the authorities? Central Consumer Authority is what? This is one of the important provision of new Act where the proposal to set up a consumer protection authority by central government, the stated purpose of CCPA would be to promote, protect, enforce the rights of consumers. How they will enforce the right of consumers? They have the investigating powers. If any complaint is being filed to the authority, central regulatory authority, then they have a right to investigate, they have right to inquire, and they have right to conduct and pass the judgment. So those are the rights being given to them. And if they pass any order, they have a right to implement the same. How they will implement? There are two types of implementation. They have given a right of imposing the penalty. If first default is there by any company for any product, they have a right to impose the penalty. Similarly, they have a right to debar that product, restrainment from the market for 1 year or for more. So those are the wider rights being given in new act. Similarly, issue orders in regards to reimbursement of the price paid by the customers of such services. Those rights are also given to the authority. Thereafter, issue directions to the appropriate personnel in regards to any false or misleading advertisement to either discontinue or modify. If suppose any kind of advertisement is being made which appears to be unfair, which appears to be misleading, and may impact the consumer as a group or individual consumers by way of this misleading advertisements, so they have a right to direct that company to discontinue that advertisement or impose the penalty. So similarly, in the statement of objects and reason of new act, it is mentioned that establishment of an executive agency like CCPA to promote, protect, enforce the rights of consumers and intervention when necessary. So similarly, now in this new act, apart from this regulatory authority or the central authority, they have modified the name from district forum to district commission, state commission, and national commission. This original three-tier jurisdiction is intact. They have created another jurisdiction that is called authority. Another is guiding authority is the councils. Central consumer councils are the guiding authority who have only right to guide. Now thereafter, what is the appellate process? Once I'm just highlighting the basic features. This authority passes any order. That order is challengeable only before National Commission. There is no role of a state commission while passing that order by the authority. Similarly, the only order challengeable before the National Commission. Now, another new feature is being enshrined or been placed in this new act, that is called product liability, which was not there earlier. What is this product liability? Product liability is a key aspect introduced in this act that would benefit the consumer under the provision of this act. A manufacturer or service provider would be required to compensate the consumer in case of any loss or injury due to manufacturing defect in the product or a poor service. Now, earlier we have seen in court litigation, the contract, a manufacturer always have a contract with the service provider that is called principal to principal basis. Here, the new definition which is put up in this new act called product liability, which fasten the liability upon the manufacturer as well as service provider for the poor quality of goods as well as the service. Now, another new features which has been added is e-commerce. E-commerce was not expressly inserted in the Act of 1986, which is the need of our. E-commerce has been included expressly in this Act. Apart from e-commerce, they have given the e-service provider also in this Act. How e-service provider is liable for the consumers, what is their role, this all falls under the e-commerce. Now, when e-commerce has been inserted, so a wider range of jurisdiction will come. So even that is being covered. Thereafter, guidelines regarding the misleading advertisement and endorsements. Another new feature added, that is endorsement. Who is liable for the endorsement? we have seen various advertisements of various products like mobile, TV, flats, then all services as well as the goods. So the person become the endorser of that advertisement. A duty is being casted upon him, and he is made liable to that product as well. So the manufacturer, the endorser, the service provider, or the person who is rendering the service to reach these goods to the consumer is also held liable for this act, in this act. Now thereafter, electronic filing is simplified in the act. That has been permitted. E-conference is permitted. Thereafter, the mediation. All those are the features being provided. I have given a chart here. Filing of complaint. A complaint needs to be filed in consumer court under whom jurisdiction of seller falls under. Now here in New Consumer Protection Act, a complaint can be filed from anywhere or from where the consumer resides. So this is the basic difference. Where the consumer resides, a new avenue is open that if I am residing in Mumbai, I have a right to file a complaint in Mumbai. I no need to go to Calcutta from where I have purchased the goods. So it is very simplified procedure and it is in the benefit of consumer. He can file a complaint from the place he is residing apart from other jurisdiction. This is one of the induction which has been made in this act. Now thereafter a mediation provision was inserted. Courts can work towards settlement. So before filing the written statement, the procedure prescribed that the matter, if court finds is liable for the settlement, it can be, or after filing a written statement, it can be referred for the settlement or mediation. Thereafter the jurisdiction. Earlier we have seen the jurisdiction of district forum is up to 20 lakhs. Now it goes up to 1 crore and state commission goes up to 10 crores. Similarly, product liability, there was no product liability available. Here, express product liability with conjunction of consumers' right are explained. So that gives more impact, more sharpness to the consumer's right, because what was not explained earlier is expressly laid down in the act. Similarly, e-commerce provisions were not there. We used to interpret, we used to show the laws. Yes, e-commerce are following any kind of e-commerce services falling under the act, but we used to have a difficulty, and this is the need of our, it has been inserted. E-commerce transaction is covered under the provisions of direct sales. Then video conferencing, it was not there. In consumer can say hearing through video conferencing is added. Now I'll take you all to the provisions of the act, which will give more clarification to understand each and every definition of the act, that how it works, how it will really impact in practical sense. I'm sharing with you the Consumer Protection Act. Now this is the act which will come into implement after the government give the notification date. After date is notified, this act will come into force. That is what says section 1, subsection 3 talks about this. Clearly says, shall construed as reference to coming into force of the provision. This section 1, subsection 4 talks about all goods and services. This act will cover all goods and services expressly. Now, important definition, first definition is 2.1. I am going to highlight 15 definitions, very short definitions to save the time. First important definition is advertisement, which was missing in earlier act, which was covered unfair trade practice, but here expressly the definition of advertisement is given. So what is advertisement? Means any audio or visual publicity representation, endorsement or pronouncement. I have highlighted what is endorsement or pronouncement. So advertisement included endorsement by any cinestar, endorsement by any public personality, endorsement by any normal public also will fall in the category of advertisement, or pronouncement made by means light, sound, smoke, gas, print. So all types of representation in the form of advertisements are covered. Then appropriate laboratory is the same definition. Branch office is the same definition which was available. Now, important definition is complainant. So this definition was available in earlier act. Here again, complainant means a consumer, any voluntary consumer association, whether registered, has to be registered under law for time being in force. A central government, central authority. Now again here, the central authority has come. It is a new feature which was not there because the central authority was not in existence. The Act has given a power to central authority to adjudicate the disputes. But in case central authority finds they have a right to file the complaint against the service provider before the consumer. Now, fifth, one or more consumers where there are numerous consumers having the same interest. So those provision was there available in the Act under 12(1)(c) is now section 2.1.2.5. One more consumers where there are numerous consumers having the same interest. So complainant, single complainant or more complainant falls under this definition. Thereafter, in case of death, legal heirs similar to earlier. Now seventh is new. In case of consumer being minor, his parents or legal guardian. It was not worded in the earlier Act. Now it is expressly worded to avoid any kind of disputes. Now this complaint, subsection 6, section 2, subsection 6. Complaint means, I am highlighting this definition because a new provision is added in the complaint definition, which I have highlighted subsection 6, subsection 1. Complaint includes an unfair contract or unfair trade practice or a restrictive trade practice has been adopted by trader or service provider. Now question comes, what is unfair contract? Unfair contract was never expressly provided in the earlier Act. Now it is well defined in this Act. That's why the complaint included unfair contract. So you can file a complaint apart from your rights, including unfair contract. So you can file a complaint for unfair trade, unfair contract, unfair trade practices, deficiency in services, thereafter for compensation, for reliefs. But this is new provision provided, which is unfair contract. Now we will see further what is exactly meaning the unfair contract when we come to the definition of it. Now 6 subsection 2, the goods brought. Here again, important word is agreed. I am requesting you all to note this word because it will give more interpretation when you will conduct the matter in the court. Since I am or maximum participants are the advocates, it will benefit to them. The goods brought by him or agreed to be brought by him suffer from one or more defects. Thereafter, the service hired or availed suffered by a trader or a service for the goods or for the services mentioned in the complaint. Now, this highlighted portion, I hope you all can see this blue color highlighted portion, a price in excess of the price. So this word was precluded from earlier proceedings falling under Consumer Protection Act 1986. There are certain judgments which says a pricing issue is outside the Consumer Protection Act, which is now made available in the present Act, new Act, that is by way of section 2, subsection 6, subsection 4. A trader or a service provider, as the case may be, has charged for the goods or the services mentioned in the complaint a price in excess of the price. A price in excess of the price is permitted. Now, what this kind of excess in the price is provided? So first is fixed by or under any law for time being in force, displayed on goods, any package containing such goods, displayed on the price list exhibited by or under any law for time being in force. Now important is agreed between the parties. Suppose I went to a restaurant, I have given a price list of a Bisleri bottle for 120 rupees. Can it be said pertaining to this definition of D, agreed between the parties, I have given a price list of 120 rupees. Customer ordered. I accepted the order. I delivered. Can a complainant or can a customer thereafter dispute about the pricing? So those can be taken as an exception, but can be read and we have to interpret. Now I am showing my comments on this. Agreement can be implied or expressed. If a price list provided through, though not required as per law, and still the buyers orders the goods and consume it, can he take advantage of unfair trade practice and sue the trader? This is what we have to see and we have to deal with when we start the consumer protection practice in 2019 Act. So this we have to see agreed between the parties, no matter if the price is in excess or not. What protect you or what protect the service provider is agreed between the parties. And if we say agreed between the parties, then this for a price in excess of the price will have no role. So those are appears to be exception, though they are included. Now I'll go a little further. The goods which are hazardous to life and safety. So we can file a complaint in respect of all these things, out of which the goods, first contravention, it was there in the old Act. Now B is important, where the trader knows that the goods so offered are unsafe to the public. So this again included where the trader knows it. I am not talking about the manufacturer. Here the trader knows that the goods so offered are unsafe to the public. This is what made liable to the service provider, to the trader of the goods. Now I'll go a little further. Definition of consumer. Here again a little change has been made. What is that change which I have highlighted? Earlier definition we have seen a beneficiary is included in the definition of consumer. Now what change has made? They have implemented the beneficiary, but the form has little bit changed. How it is changed? Now I read for you. If any customer buys any goods for a consideration which has been paid or promised or partly paid or partly promised under any system of deferred payment and includes any user of such goods other than the person who buys such goods for consideration, paid or promised or partly paid, promised or under any system of deferred payment. Now here the change has come. When such use is made with the approval of such person. When the beneficiary was included in the old Act, what was the necessity to mention when such use is made with the approval of such person and why, what interpretation will come, that I'll show. Here the legislatures have expressly enshrined
Consumer Protection Act के बारे में बोल रहे हैं.
Yes. Here, I think some participants have left their speaker on. I request them to mute it so that I can go further. Here, the legislators have expressly enshrined a condition of approval. What is this definition talks about? It talks about a condition. What is that condition? A prior approval of such person required. So now question comes whether the approval requires in written form or requires in oral form. That is absent. So approval, the moment legislatures have inserted the word approval, approval has to be proved by the person who files the complaint. This is a new addition to the new Act. Now we will go further. Subsection 9, Section 2, Subsection 9. Again, important definition which was not there is a consumer right. What are the consumer rights? So this is an inclusive definition, not an exclusive definition. So it includes, but there are certain other rights which are yet to be defined. So what are those rights? The right to be protected against the marketing of goods, product or service which are hazardous to life. Till date, we had no right which would have protected us against the marketing of goods, product or services. Now, what is this about? My comments I'll show. An important and wider right. Such provision can be taken as interim as well as final relief for a single consumer as well as for numerous consumers. Now, if suppose you have not consumed any product, still that right is available being a consumer. Earlier, there used to have a privity of contract, but this kind of right cannot be said that you have no right unless you consume the product, for the simple reason this right may come before you purchase the product or may come after you purchase the product. But the right to be protected against the marketing of goods, product or services are hazardous to life. Now, how this right works? Suppose I have purchased a mobile and the endorser of this mobile is a famous cine star who knows or who doesn't know about the quality of the mobile. But he endorsed, yes, this is a very good product. The clarity, the configuration is up to the mark. So now when I buy or when I see that product to be purchased, I went to a gallery, want to purchase, and I realized that the advertisement made was false or misleading. I have a right to exercise and protect my right as a consumer by marketing of such goods, product or services which are hazardous to life and property. So similarly, right to be informed about the quality. Another important right, section 2, subsection 9, subsection 2. The right to be informed about the quality, quantity, potency, purity, standard and price of goods, product or services as the case may be. This creates absolutely transparency in the market. No trader, service provider or the manufacturer can keep a curtain about their assurances in respect of quality, quantity, potency, because it becomes a right of consumer which is expressly by word in the act. So we have a right to be informed about the quality, quantity, potency, purity about the goods. And if anybody wants to suppress, still we have a right to go against it. The right to be assured. Now this is again most important right. Why it is most important right? And how it is important in this developing scenario, I'll explain. The right to be assured whenever possible access to a variety of goods, product or services at competitive prices. So now the monopoly will be halted or will come to an halt by way of this provision, because this becomes a right of consumer to be assured whatever product he is buying, he has to be assured whenever possible access to the variety. So it should not happen that in USA we are getting the latest model of the mobile or the goods, and in India we are not getting that variety, because now it becomes our right to access to a variety of goods, and equally it becomes the activity of trader and the service provider to provide a variety of the goods at competitive prices. It cannot be a price beyond the market, has to be a competitive prices. Now thereafter I'll directly come to 6, the right to consumer awareness. It was not there, but several NGOs, several councils were working on this, that consumers, it's a right of consumers awareness. Now it becomes a right of consumer to be aware about each and every product and services. Now 11, subsection 11, deficiency. Deficiency was there in earlier act also. I am just reading the highlighted portion. Pursuance of contract or otherwise in relation to any service. Now what does that mean? What does that mean? So now I'll read the definition. Deficiency means any fault, imperfection, shortcoming or inadequacy in quality, nature, manner of performance which is required to be maintained by under any law for time being in force or has been undertaken to be performed by a person in pursuance of a contract. It wasn't there. It wasn't there earlier in pursuance of contract or otherwise in relation to any service. Now question comes, if I have a contract of certain quality of goods being provided, but law says that I have to provide the goods of that standard. Now this provision becomes a law and this becomes a special statute. Now I ask you all, which will prevail? So I have a certain law says no illegal arrangement between the party can become a contract. But if a legal contract pursuant to various quality of the goods, though no matter, the law says a standard quality of goods required, but the person who entered into a contract, here in this manner, the person who is a trader can be saved and it will create an equity about, and it will prevent a person to take advantage of his own act, saying that first he entered into a contract about certain quality of goods, but now he's taking the stand saying that when there is no OC, I would have not taken the possession, or when there is no OC and it is mentioned that without OC that the possession I have taken, they will be definitely saved here. That is a matter of interpretation. Slowly but gradually we all will see. Now thereafter, electronic service provider, that is subsection 17. Section 2 subsection 17. 16 is e-commerce. E-commerce means buying or selling of goods or service including digital products or digital or electronic network. Now here, what is electronic or digital network? That is the electronic network is the e-platform, like e-webinar we are doing. Similarly, e-platform or whatever we buy by using the electronic media, that is the e-platform. So all those commerce which takes place in electronic forms and on electronic platform, that is covered under section 2 subsection 16. Now 17 is, what is electronic service provider? Means a person who provides technologies to process or enable a product seller to engage in advertising or selling goods. What is that? What does that mean? We all use Googles, we all use various search engines, various e-platforms. We have come across that after a certain interval of time, advertisement pops up. So who allows those advertisers to publish their advertisement online? Those are the service provider who allowed them. So this service provider like Google, like Amazon, then you can say Flipkart, all are the service providers. Those are the electronic platforms and they provide the goods. So they have a platform where the advertiser or the product manufacturer can come and exhibit their product. So electronic service provider means a person who provides technologies or process to enable a product seller to engage in advertising or selling goods. So advertising as well as selling goods or service to a consumer. So all three categories are included. Exhibition of an advertisement, selling of goods by using electronic platform, or service to a consumer in the form of e-techno know-how. Certain know-how we get when we use the computer, they assist us by entering into our computer with our own permission and provide the service or rectify the defects. So those are the e-services. We have wider range of e-services because the e-service market is growing day by day. So it is most important, and I welcome this kind of provision in the new Act, which really help all of us. 18 is endorsement. What is in relation to an advertisement means any message, verbal, statement, and demonstration. Suppose I being a speaker today, I demonstrate or give any message verbally or through electronic medium, verbal statement, or I demonstrate So this says that I am endorsing that product and its quality. It is endorsement in relation to an advertisement. So I am endorsing. If I am talking about any mobile, if I am talking about any quality, so I am endorsing for which the manufacturer trader has paid to me. So they are fall under the endorsement. But one thing is absent in the end, that good bona fide or good faith. If any endorsement is being done, knowing or believing that the product is up to the mark, but have they got any exception to this definition is absent in the end. So certainly all the endorser, if their advertisement or endorsement comes to be untrue or misleading, they are rightly liable under this act. Now thereafter, 22, harm. A new definition of harm is explained in relation to product liability include, because while using the e-platform, there are certain acts which does not harm us physically, but harm our reputation, harm us, damage our brain, damage our personality, and damage our name, but that doesn't harm physically. So this harm includes both. In relation to a product liability includes damage to a property other than the product itself, personal injury, illness or death, mental agony, emotional distress attendant personal injury or illness or damage. So loss of consortium service or other loss resulting from a harm reference in subject. So all kind of harm, physical harm as well as harm to the reputation, personal injury, everything is covered in this definition. Now injury, we have seen personal injury is included in the definition of harm. Now what was the necessity to explain the definition of injury? Means any harm, whatever illegally caused to any person, body, mind or property. Body, mind or property. Any injury caused, whatever, if it is illegally caused, then that becomes a harm and the person caused that trader, service provider is made liable. Manufacturer, a wider definition of manufacturer given. Manufacturer means a person makes a goods or parts thereof. Anybody assemble the goods by purchasing the parts, or the person who manufacture the parts are included. Now second is assemble any goods or parts thereof made by others are also defined as manufacturer. So who outsource the job and sell the product is it included in the definition of manufacturer. Puts or causes to be put his own mark on any goods made by any other person, no matter whether the person has manufactured or not. Once he engrossed his mark, he becomes a manufacturer in this act. Then 25 talks of mediation, mediator, members. I now touch to 28, misleading advertisement. Again, what is misleading advertisement? In relation to any product or service means any advertisement falsely describes such product or service, gives false guarantee or like to mislead, and conveys an express or implied representation which if made. So those are the misleading advertisement. Now again, important definition which comes after 24. This is 33 and 34. Yes, both the definitions are important. Product and product liability. Those are new features been added. What is product? So they need to explain when they are giving the product liability or explaining the product liability. They thought it proper to explain first the product. So what is product? Means any article, goods, substance, raw material, any extended cycle of such product which may in gaseous, liquid or solid state, possessing intrinsic value which is capable of delivery either or wholly assembled or as a component part product. So they have included all three forms, solid, liquid, gas in the product, or a combination of these three as a product. Then how this product and how this product's liability will apply. So they explain all types of goods, services are product. All types of goods, articles of goods are product, not services. All types of goods are product. Then the product liability. It's very important definition. Means the responsibility of product manufacturer or product seller of product services to compensate for any harm caused to a consumer by such defective product manufacturer or sold or by deficiency in service relating thereto. So what are the product liability action? So that product liability action is provided. Then yes. So this 36 with defined product has subsection 5 which talks about product manufacturer is a person which includes a designs and produce. A product manufacturer means a person who designs the product or produce the product. So suppose I am a designer of a car. I am a designer of a car. So I become a product manufacturer because I design a car, no matter whether a big company has manufactured or not. So similarly, if a building is being constructed by an architect, and if there is designing fault, then they are equally responsible as product manufacturer pursuant to this 36. This is the definition talks about the product manufacturer. Now, restrictive trade practices. Though that definition was not there, unfair trade practice was there. It's a restrictive trade practice they have given the name. Means a trade practice which tends to bring about manipulation of price or its condition. If you remember, I have explained the definition of complaint, and there I had explained the pricing issue. Now that pricing issue is correlate with this definition of restrictive trade practice. If law doesn't provide, you cannot. But the exception provided in the complaint, if a contract says and both the parties agrees, then has to be treated agreed. Now I'll read restrictive trade practice means a trade practice which tends to bring about manipulation of price. Exactly what I was speaking about, manipulation of price or its conditions of delivery or affect flow of supplies in the market relating to goods or services in such a manner as to impose the consumer's unjustified cost or restriction and shall include. So there two other aspects are included. Delay beyond the period agreed to by a trader in supply of goods or in providing the services which has led or is likely to lead to rise the price. Any trade practice which requires a consumer to buy, hire, or avail of a goods, or as the case may
Sir, unable to hear, sir.
There is no voice.
Yes, please hold on. Please hold on. We are looking into it. Please hold on.
All right, thank you.
Mohit, are you there? व्हिडिओ पण नाही येत ना. Please hold on. I am trying to establish a contact with Advocate Mohit. Please hold on. Hello. I spoke with our today's lecturer. Unfortunately, he was logged out. Now he will come in once again. It seems that there was some difficulty, technical difficulty. He will be joining within a couple of minutes. I am grateful that all of us are waiting. Please hold on for a few more seconds. The speaker has joined. He will start his camera and the audio within few seconds. Please hold on. Please hold on for a few more seconds. Our speaker will come immediately. Please hold on for a few more seconds. our speaker will join from another instrument. Please hold on for a few more seconds. It seems that there is some technical issue about the instrument which was being used. So therefore, I am told by the speaker that he will be logging once again from another instrument. So please hold on. I am thankful to all of you. Please hold on.
How much more time will
He said our speaker said that he will be logging in by using another instrument. So therefore, I am waiting at any moment. It can come.
Facebook?
Sorry,
Is he using Facebook now?
I am not aware. He said that he will use another instrument and he will log in. So I am also equally in dark. He is around 600 kilometers from the place where our Consumer Court Advocate Association is having his office. So please hold on for a few more seconds.
Okay. Okay.
Uday sir, can you explain about the next speaker and subject?
Yes.
By that time.
Jitendra, sure.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I can make an announcement about the tomorrow's session.
Yes.
Tomorrow's session is on e-commerce and the Consumer Protection Act 2019. We are aware that e-commerce is a new concept so far as the existing act is. So in the existing act, there was no provision about the e-commerce. So therefore, we will be having our vice president, one of the vice president, Advocate Uday Vavikar. He will be delivering a lecture on that topic.
So nice.
Just 1 second. Mohit has come, it seems. Mohit, are you there? Today's speaker, I asked him. Yes, there is a message. Advocate Mohit Bansali. Yes. Now he has started. I am tendering apology to all friends for this this interruption, and I am requesting Advocate Mohit to continue. Now we are having around 10 minutes maximum. Please continue, Mohit.
Yes. Can I continue further?
Yeah.
Please continue.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and sorry for interruption. We were here on unfair. We were discussing about the restrictive trade practice Thereafter, an important definition is unfair contract. You all can see this section 2 subsection 46 unfair contract. This is a new addition to the new act. It was not expressed earlier in earlier contract. Any contract, it is defined, which is a contract between a manufacturer or trader or a service provider on one hand and a consumer on other, having such terms which cause significant change in the rights of consumer, including following, namely, requiring manifestly excessive security deposit to be given by a consumer for performance of contractual obligation, imposing of any penalty on consumer for breach of contract, refusing to accept early repayment of debt, entitlement of a party to the contract to terminate such contract unilaterally, permitting or has been effect of permitting one party to assign the contract to determine the other party who is a consumer. Now, why this
There is a breaks in voice.
contract is been explained?
Mohit, your voice is breaking. Mohit, your voice is breaking.
Sir, please mute all participants.
Mohit, please continue. Mohit, please continue.
Please continue.
I have spoken with our speaker. Our speaker is again trying to establish a contact with all of us. Let us try that. Let us hope that he will come very soon. In the meantime, as Advocate Kothari made a request, there is an announcement for the tomorrow's lecture. Tomorrow we are having a lecture of our one of the Vice President, Advocate Uday Vavikar, who will be speaking on the topic of consumer e-commerce, which is the new topic, and the Consumer Protection Act 2019.
Uday sir, timing of the tomorrow's lecture?
The timing is 12 o'clock.
Okay,
Again,
thank
the
you.
same time, and we are very happy to announce that for the first time, a Chief Justice of Karnataka, Justice Abhay Oak, will be coming on our platform on Saturday at 12 noon. This is for the first time happening in the history of Consumer Court Advocate Association that a sitting
nice, sir.
Chief Justice of a High Court will be speaking online on online to all of us. So therefore, this is one of the proud moment. But so far as that session is concerned, there is a registration which is required. It is free of charge, but registration is mandatory. On the group, you will find there are numbers of the volunteers which have been shared with you, and those volunteers will be able to give you a link and you can come inside. Mr. Bansali, are you there? Mohit, are you there? Mohit, are you there? There was one more thing. There were certain questions which were asked, and in fact, Mohit was supposed to answer those questions being a speaker, but it seems that he is out of coverage or there is some technical issue. So therefore, our one of the vice president, Advocate Vavikar, had shown his readiness to come forward and answer some of the important questions which were asked. Mr. Vavikar, are you there?
Yes, I am there.
So, Mr. Vavikar, are you able to see the questions or should I read out for you?
I cannot see the questions. You can read out. It'll be better.
Yes, I will read out, and this will be on behalf of Advocate Mohit Bansali. One more minute.
That video. You cannot start.
Host is disabled.
I hope I am now audible
Yes,
to all.
yes. Please come.
Come back. All right.
Can I continue where I have left?
Yes, please.
Yes. Please go ahead.
Yes. So I have completed the definitions, including the unfair contracts and advertisement endorsers and all. Now, here there are altogether 7 chapters in the Consumer Protection Act. The important chapter is the definitions which I have covered. Another chapter is Chapter 2, Consumer Protection Councils. The councils form under the consumer protection are the advisory in nature. So we will not touch as far as the practicing advocates are concerned. The chapter 2 pertains to consumer protection councils. So I now directly go. I'll explain what is consumer protection councils. There is a central consumer protection councils, which we call it advisory council. Similarly, consumer affairs ministers is a part of that council, and who render the advice to consumers commissions. So state and district, there are 2 different councils. State councils comprising of state minister and central council comprising of minister in central. So here the state, at the district level, the collector of district, and at the central level, the minister of consumer affairs. Here now chapter 3 is important, the Central Consumer Protection Authority. I was talking about the authority. So the council is only advisory in nature. As far as the authority, this is the new insertion in the act given with the power to regulate, to monitor, and to implement the consumer's right, and to punish if the right is not implemented, is defined and explained in chapter 3. So what is Central Consumer Protection Authority and what is their rights, what is their power, and how their jurisdiction is been defined in chapter 3. The central government shall by notification establish with effect from such date so and so a central authority to regulate matters relating to violation of rights of consumer, unfair trade practice, and false misleading advertisements. So those are the duties of central authority, Central Consumer Protection Authority. Now, the important in this part, the Chief Commissioner from Delhi is the chairman of this authority. There are 2 types of authority, central authority as well as state authority. So complaint to district collector. So even a buyer or consumer here can file a complaint with a district collector in the state. In the state, he can file a complaint about the violation, about the misconduct, misleading advertisements. and that complaint will be heard. Complaint can be filed before district collector, state commission, and national commission. So now, what power they have? They have the power to investigate the complaints by Director General or Collector. Section 20 empowers them. Yes. Where the central authority is satisfied on the basis of investigation that there is sufficient evidence to show violation of consumer rights or unfair trade practice by a person, it may pass such order as may be necessary. So they have a right to recall of goods, withdrawal of service, which are dangerous, unsafe, or hazardous, reimbursement of prices of goods service, or recall to the purchaser of goods service and discontinue of those goods services. So those are the powers given under the section 20 to the authorities. Now, if that is not been done, and despite their power, if nobody hears and nobody cares about their orders of withdrawal, so they are being given with certain right, which includes section 22. Sorry, first I will discuss with the rights what right they have given. Is given under section 21(3), notwithstanding any order under subsection 1 and 2, where the central authority deems it necessary, it may prohibit endorser of false misleading advertisement from making endorsement of any product service for a period which may extend it to 1 year. So this is also one of the power given. In subsection 2, they have a power to impose the penalty which may extend up to 10 lakhs of rupees. And if that default continues, then it may extend to 50 lakhs of rupees. So those kind of wider power given to the authorities. Then section 22 have given them another unique power. What is that unique power? Is in section 22A, enter at any reasonable time into any such premises and search for any document or record or article. So the power of search and seizure is given to them, which is really very effective power. So they have the investigation power, they have a power to decide, they have a power to impose the penalty, and they have a power to listen the consumer complaints pertaining to the consumer rights. Now question comes, when the authority is formed, Central Consumer Protection Authority is formed and are being given with the power to deal with the consumer complaints pertaining to consumer rights against the service provider or the goods manufacturer or trader. Then what do the consumer commissions will do? So they have stated in the Act, a complaint can be filed either commission or before the authority. Now question comes, whether the order passed by the authority shall have a binding effect over the order passed by the Consumer Commission, or the Commission's order will have a binding effect to the authority. That is not been explained in the entire Act. But if we see the hierarchy, the authority pass any order is challengeable before National Commission. But since there is no prohibition, there is no embargo, it may happen that the state commission pass any order in respect of same product, and the authority may pass any order in respect of same product in two different complaints. So now we have to see by way of practice how this law gets developed in such a scenario. Now I'll go further and read section 24. So as I said, central authorities form their rights, their power. So section 24 says a person aggrieved by any order passed by central authority under section 2021 may file an appeal to the National Commission within a period of 30 days from the date of receipt of such order. So 30 days period is mentioned. Within 30 days period, the order passed by central authority is challengeable before National Commission. Now, thereafter, I directly go to chapter 4, which is most relevant again. And the relevant provision is District Commission 24. Now, section 29. this chapter 4. The state government shall by so and so. Each district commission. So they have named the forum as a commission. Each district commission shall consist of a president, not less than 2 or so are similar. Here the jurisdiction they have changed. The jurisdiction they have made up to 1 crore. And another hitch is there in this provision, and how we will interpret this provision is important. Section 34. Subject to other provision of this act, the district commission shall have jurisdiction to entertain complaints where the value of goods or services paid as consideration does not exceed 1 crore rupees. So now, suppose if I interpret this section, the word, I concentrate on the word as consideration, paid as consideration. So suppose I purchase a flat of rupees 10 crore, but according to this definition, I paid rupees 50 lakhs as a consideration till date of filing of complaint. So question comes, though the price of the flat is 10 crores, am I entitled to file a complaint before district forum? So this interpretation, word of paid, make it happen. I don't know how this interpretation will take up in the court, but plain reading of this section, using of word paid denotes that yes, whatever amount is paid, if it is less than 1 crore, it can be done. I'll go further. Section 34 deals about the pecuniary as well as territorial 2B. Section 34 2B. Now this is again unique feature is added. A complaint shall be instituted in a district forum within the local limits of whose jurisdiction opposite parties or each of opposite parties where there are more than one at the time of institution. It was the same as it in the earlier act. Now B, any of the opposite parties where there are more than one at the time of institution of complaint actually and voluntarily resides or carries on so and so branch office works for gain, provided that in such case the permission of district commission is given. So those two provisions were in existence in old act. Now third, the cause of action, it was also there. Now fourth, what is now added is the complainant resides or personally works for gain. It may happen that the complainant has purchased the goods in Delhi. Thereafter he shifted to West Bengal, and West Bengal he found within the limitation period that the goods he purchased or the services he engaged is defective. He can file a complaint from West Bengal where he personally works for gain or resides. So the wider scope is been given and a benefit is given to the consumer to file a complaint not only where the part cause of action arise, but he can file a complaint where he actually resides. So when we deal with the e-commerce, this section will be most important irrespective of where the transaction taken place, whether in India, out of India. Important is where the complainant resides, works for gain is important and he can file the complaint. Now, I'll take you a little further, that section 36. This 36 talks about the admission of complaint. The period given now for admission of complaint is 21 days from the filing of complaint. And if at all the complaint is not admitted or put up for admission within 21 days or admission stage is not decided, the complaint is deemed to have been admitted is mentioned in subsection 3, section 36. I will highlight for you. This deemed to have been admitted within 21 days. Now, thereafter, section 38(8) interim relief. So, 38 talks about interim relief. District Commission, State Commission, National Commission will have the jurisdiction to pass any kind of interim relief as maintainable in the Consumer Protection Act. Unique is section 40, which we were asking for. Yes. The District Commission shall have the power to review any of order passed by it if there is an error apparent on the face of record, either of its own motion or on an application made by any of the parties within 30 days of such order. So this section, we were craving about that district forum, the district commission, state commission earlier had no power to review its own order. Now they are being given the power to review under section 40. Section 41 talks about the period for filing the appeal about any order by the district commission to the state commission is 45 days. Earlier it was only 30 days. Now, the compulsion which is made under section 41 is that 50%, provided further that this second provision I am reading, provided further that no appeal by a person who is required to pay an amount in terms of order of this shall be entertained by state commission unless appellant has deposited 50%. So now it is made compulsory that no appeal will be maintainable unless the decree holder or the decree liable or the person who made liable under the decree deposit 50% of the decretal amount in the court. So earlier it was 25,000 and then as per the order of court. Now here compulsorily minimum 50% required. So section 47 talks about the jurisdiction of the state commission. Again, the jurisdiction is exceeded or enhanced from 1 crore to 10 crore. Now the state commission will have a jurisdiction. Again, which I have interpreted is the same. The complainants where the value of goods or service paid as consideration. Now question, why if the legislature intention is to consider the consideration, why the word is paid is used? A simple interpretation why the word paid is used. If the word paid is used, the word consideration is diluted. So we have to take into consideration the word paid. So whatever amount is paid does not exceed rupees 1 crore, does not exceed rupees 10 crore, but exceed rupees 1 crore. So state commission shall have the jurisdiction. Thereafter now section 72 talks about this 51 and all are the national commissions, then who can become a member, president, all those talks about. Now, important is section 72, which talks about execution. So this is the same execution procedure which we had in under section 25, 27. Apart from that, the authority, the central authority have been given the power to file a criminal complaint against the trader and the service provider. So this is a new power being given to the authority. And what is being included, the penalty in execution non-compliance of order, the penalty is of 25,000, which may extend to 1 lakh of rupees. So those are the new features which are being added in the new Consumer Protection Act. So this act and its provision is in addition to the other provision of the act and not in derogation of the other provisions of the act. So I have explained and tried to explain in nutshell the changes and the interpretation of the new provisions. And if you all have any questions, so I am here to give the answer about those questions. Mr. Varunjika sir, please take over.
Yes, Mohit, most of the participants have requested that the PPT or the presentation should be shared with them. So if you
Yes,
if you have a detailed presentation with you, we can share that with the participants. Some of the participants have requested whether there is whether the rules have been prepared and published. Would you like to answer this?
Rules are prepared, but not yet published.
All right. So therefore, as and when the rules will come at that point of time, our CCA will provide one more such interaction. Then there is one more problem. please share the mark gazetted notification. So the participants are happy with your blue color marking which you have done on the gazette. So therefore the request would be that please please share that gazetted copy where you have marked, because our participants are expecting a ready-made answer from Mohit Bansali.
जरा आवाज कमी करा, बोलतोय कळत नाही का?
Now there are a few more questions, but most of the questions are with reference to the rules and the date of commencement. Would you like to say something about the date of commencement of this act?
Varanjikar sir.
Varanjikar sir, we can't hear you.
Okay, okay. Mohit, there was a
Yes.
question asked by somebody about
Yes.
the date of commencement of this act. So would you like to share
Not
on
yet
that?
published, not yet. This date is not yet out by the central government. Once it is been out, it will be published or it will be gazetted, and that will be shared.
All right. CCA always feel that we are preparing our own members and the persons to face or to get ready with the new challenges. And this is one of such way when we try to impart some more education and permit our members to become master of the new law, namely the Consumer Protection Act 2019. It's a time to now close today's lecture. We
I
are
just have a small question.
Yes, yes. Sanjay, you can ask. Please ask.
Is it audible now?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Yes. Mohit, you had spoken about the rights of the assured, rights of the consumer assured
Yes.
under the law, and I highlighted it as well. The right to be assured wherever possible access to variety of goods, product and services at competitive price. See, here, when you spoke that what is available as a company's product must be available worldwide, right?
Yes.
Now there is an issue. There are certain products which are only released in particular location, say Europe or US. It's not introduced in India. Can you still demand that in India?
If this product is not available in India, can you say that you cannot become a consumer of that product?
No, I may want to be the consumer, but the company is not launching it here.
Company is not launching in India as far as the territorial jurisdiction is concerned, as far as the consumer residing in India. But being a consumer, no matter you have purchased this product from out of India, still definition provides you can file in India. As far as the supply of these goods at competitive price is there, when the company has not opened, there has to be some reason. That reason will be ascertained in the court. They may say that it's our prerogative or our own decision, but my right is getting affected by their decision. I have an audience to talk about.
All right, Mohit, thank you very much.
Thank you.
There will be an announcement about the tomorrow's lecture. Tomorrow at 12 noon, we'll be having a lecture on the e-commerce and the new Consumer Protection Act 2019. It's a time to remind one more thing. Day after tomorrow and Saturday, we are having one more important lecture of Chief Justice of Karnataka High Court, Justice Srinivas Oak. He will be speaking on professional ethics to all of us, but that lecture requires a pre-registration. So therefore, on the Facebook group as well as on CCA, the volunteers have been named and their numbers are there. All are requested to contact those volunteers. They will allow you to register yourself and help you in registering yourself for the said lecture.
Why don't you move?
In
one question. Sir.
Mr. Barve,
Sir, one question.
let me close my session, and then thereafter you can suggest whatever you want to say. Thank you, speaker. Thank you, speaker. Thank you, participant. And let us meet tomorrow once again at 12 o'clock, 12 noon. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Udesh.
Thank you.
Udesh. Udesh is there. Hello.
कौन बोलता है? Who is there? कौन बोलता है? Hello. Yes.
Sir, can I treat this meeting is completed?